It has made an announcement that it would commit government funds to foster the language and culture support on the island of Attu. The by-election is due to be held. Party leader Tina Brown told me more about the plan.
Two reasons. One is to make sure that there's absolutely no chance of us losing the language. And of course, the language in the outer islands is slightly different, with different dialects of our Tonga. And secondly, the dream is so that families that are residing in New Zealand and Australia may be tempted enough to sing that children, and hopefully they will follow back on the island to educate them to speak our own language.
And this would just be people with a long connection to Attu.
The idea is the Attuans will come back and learn how to speak Attuan, but it's not going to close the door to other people who might be interested.
You decided on Attu because there is already a very strong push on that island from the people there to try and to hold on to the language. So there's a lot of teaching already happening there, and you just want to build on that.
Absolutely, and I think it was also a plan that was initially thought of, I think, about 10 years ago, or maybe less than that, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but it did not get the support of government at the time, and I'm just thinking that definitely the island is supportive of it, and of course, Attuans are proud of their language and their culture, but when we have a look around and see the language that our grandchildren speak now, it's more English than local.
Well, you've announced this as part of a wider plan to repopulate the outer islands. Clearly, you have to do a lot more than this, though, won't you?
Oh, well, look, you will see that the budget is around about $500,000 for one island. The dream is that if it's going to work for one island, then we're going to spread it. There needs to be government support for it as well. And, of course, one thing in common with the opposition and government is that people, both sides, are attempting to find ways to bring our people back and repopulate the outer islands. The population in the outer islands are now probably below half than what it was about 5-10 years ago.
Repopulating is going to come down to providing an economic opportunity. Is there a huge economic opportunity in this?
I think there definitely are economic opportunities in the outer islands. I'm in Attu at the moment, and there are some problems, challenges with getting the people to go back and plant what they used to. They have a big problem here. But I think these challenges can be overcome. So it's really trying to find ways to attract our people to return, I think, would be the biggest challenge.
And the Democratic Party would see this very much as a nice, juicy carrot leading into the by-election?
Well, like I said, it's not something new. This is not something we invented. It's been around for a wee while, but we see it as something that if it takes off, it'll do more than just get our children to learn their language. There will be some economic benefits in there for the island as well.
That's Tina Brown of the opposition Cook Islands Democratic Party. Next Monday's election in the Marshall Islands is shaping up to be one of the most significant since independence. The country will head to the polls on November 18 to elect a new 33-member Ndishijila, which will then go on to elect a president. Our correspondent in Majuro, Giv Johnson, told Jamie Tahana why the next 4-year term will be significant.
The leadership that's elected next week is a leadership that will need to navigate a new funding arrangement with the U.S. government post-2023 when the current funding arrangement expires, as well as generally dealing with a very volatile strategic political situation in the Pacific vis-a-vis China and Taiwan and the U.S. and its allied governments. And finally, as the climate issue begins to hit home more, some really hard decisions are going to have to start being made about adaptation.
And the compact is already sort of well underway, isn't it? The issues there. How is that looking, and what are the various stances on it?
So the thing about the Compact of Free Association relationship with all three of the North Pacific countries, Marshall Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, and Panama, is that the funding arrangements were set up with a specific horizon to end after 20 years for FSM in the Marshall Islands, and that 20-year period ends in 2023. And the plan was that the governments would just move on to using their trust funds that are being capitalized as their main source of income, replacing or taking over from the U.S. grant funding that's now provided. But it's become apparent that the trust funds will have years of shortfalls, and essentially if you start having years with little or no money available, you're talking economic collapse, failed state status for these small island countries that depend so heavily on U.S. aid. And given the current geostrategic back and forth that's going on in the Pacific, this has suddenly elevated the importance of these islands to Washington. And Washington, after 15, almost 20 years of saying there would be no funding agreement post-2023, now says they're ready to negotiate a new deal and to address some of these issues. And obviously the reason is that they do not wish to provide an opening to China.
That presumably would give Majuro, the Marshall Islands, quite a position of strength, seeing how jittery Washington is about China.